It was a summer night that could have been just another ordinary evening. My brother's two friends were staying over, and my mom and I decided to grab a pizza for an easy dinner. We chose a popular Arizona pizza place called Fired Pie and planned to take it home to eat. Along for the ride were my brother's friends and our young husky, Frosty, who we couldn't leave alone because he was still too destructive at home. Little did we know, bringing Frosty would mean more than just saving our furniture. When we arrived at Fired Pie, I didn't want to leave the car because I was feeling lazy. However, my mom and brother didn't want to leave me alone, but since Frosty couldn't enter the restaurant, he stayed with me. Reluctantly, they agreed I'd be fine. We parked in a dark area and I lounged in the back seat with Frosty, scrolling through my phone. Suddenly, Frosty started whining and barking softly. I thought he was just uneasy because of being in the car, so I patted him and he calmed down for a moment. Then, his barking turned aggressive, catching me off guard. As I shifted to pet him again, I caught something in the side mirror's reflection. My heart sank. A man in a black hoodie and ski mask was staring right at me. I turned around to see him trying to open the car door, but thankfully, it was locked. He yelled for me to open up, and at 14, I was terrified, unsure how to react. Frosty barked louder, stepping on me in the process, which snapped me back to reality. Mustering courage, I shouted at the man, warning that I'd call the police if he didn't leave. After a moment of eerie silence, he disappeared. Thinking it was over, I stepped out of the car with Frosty to run to the restaurant. But as I moved, someone grabbed me from behind and covered my mouth with a cloth. The last thing I saw was Frosty running toward the restaurant before I blacked out. When I woke up in the hospital, my body ached, and I saw my worried mom and brother nearby. Confused, I asked what had happened. They explained that Frosty had run to the restaurant and caught the attention of the staff. When my family saw him, they knew something was wrong and rushed back to the car, only to find me gone. My mom called the police, and Frosty began barking at a suspicious van nearby. My brother and his friends approached it, saw blood on the back door, and found me tied up inside. As they were trying to help me, the attacker returned with a knife. Acting quickly, my brother tackled him, and his friends restrained the man. My mom freed me while the police arrived, arresting the attacker. It turned out he was a convicted sex offender, drug dealer, and human trafficker who planned to kidnap me. I owe my life to Frosty. To this day, I wonder what might have happened if we had left him at home. Most likely, I wouldn't be here to tell this story. This experience made me reflect on another unforgettable incident. In 1990 to 91, I worked as a waitress while earning my associate degree in business. It was an ordinary job until one night changed everything. That evening, a dusty-looking couple and a teenage girl walked into the restaurant. As I seated them, the girl dropped her fork, and I picked it up for her. When she took it, she held my hand firmly. At first, I thought nothing of it and continued working. But as I passed by their table again, she dropped her fork repeatedly, each time squeezing my hand tighter when I handed it back. It felt intentional, and something seemed off. After they left, I found a napkin under her plate with a chilling message. "Help me, call the police." My heart sank. I realized she was in trouble, possibly kidnapped. For days, I couldn't stop thinking about her. Then it hit me. She looked like a missing girl, Antoinette Cito. Her face and physique matched the descriptions I'd seen. I was haunted by guilt for not realizing the seriousness of her signals. Could I have saved her? Antoinette's mother, Penny, later passed away in 1999, and her detached demeanor in interviews makes me suspect she was involved in her daughter's disappearance. Antoinette remains missing, though many believe she's no longer alive. I hope wherever she has found peace and is no longer suffering. This mystery still haunts me, and I wish I had done more that night.